Hey team, so today I wanted to go through proposal refinement training with you and kind of hone in on the core four principles from an input perspective in order to achieve the maximum output from the system. So the first core four principle that I wanted to bring to your guys' attention here is actually our solutioning data tab. So the solution tab here is designed to get your capture managers and SMEs involved directly within the system in order for all this capture information to then get directly translated into the first full-length draft proposal that the system can create for you. If you don't know the answers to these questions here, you can either one, send a data call out to your team to get them to populate the answers for you to go in and add this data to the system, or the second option you have here is to use our suggest answer feature, where the system will then comb through your data library at how you responded previously to these types of questions, and it's going to go in and it's going to generate a response for you. If you like what the system creates, you can either directly insert this into the tool with the insert button, or you can go in and prompt back and forth in the chat here where it says ask anything or select to continue to refine this text in order to achieve the best input here. We have a bunch of questions here around general, so your win themes, any other information, as well as teaming partner information about your approach, the features that you guys can offer, the benefits that your customer will receive from your solution, and then any risks, both internal and external to the organization. The other core four principle that I wanted to show you is going to be within the compliance tab here. So within our compliance, so the way we currently support compliance is that when you first generate a proposal within the system, we're automatically going to generate a compliance matrix as well as an annotated outline for your review. The way we do it is that we're going to show you every single section in the section title, and this directly mirrors what you're going to see in the outline right here. And we're going to show you which instructions, so those ITO requirements, as well as those scope of work requirements that we have nested under each section of the outline in order to give the system boundaries for what it needs to write to from a compliance standpoint. You can also hop over into review mode here, and you can actually review this on a section by section basis where you'll actually be able to click into each section of the outline, and you'll be able to cross-reference this to the solicitation document directly on the right-hand side. You can also download this via a compliance package in an Excel document here, and you can also see if there's multiple documents that are involved in that solicitation package. Those will show up on the drop-down menu here. Once you're done reviewing your compliance items here to see which sections the system is passing through itself, you'll then be able to hop into the outline and actually be able to fully modify those citations. So if you click into each individual section here and you scroll down a bit where you see citations, this is going to be your cited instructions, and these are going to be your cited task area requirements. Again, you have full control over the compliance boundaries and you have full ability to modify them. So if you wanted to remove this section from being written to in the proposal, you can then go in and unselect that. And then if you do wish to re-add that or add a different section, all you need to do here is just click the section you want the system to write to, and it'll auto-select that and then be passed through as an additional compliance boundary. You also have complete control over this outline to any extent. So you can go in here. So if you wanted to delete these sections here, you can go in and all it's going to ask you to do is just type delete so you know what you're deleting here. And then as you can see, actually, if you then hop over into the compliance tab and you go over to where it says compliance matrix, those sections will actually then be deleted here. So they do directly mirror each other. So you do have full influence over the compliance package at all times. You also can go in and you can add new sections in here. You can go in, as I showed you before, you can delete sections. You can also go under each individual section here and you can modify the section type, and we have a bunch of different selection options, and you can hover over this eye to give you more information. We have a couple different language types for you to choose from, which you can also see in here, and you also have influence over the page limit and the page target. So the page limit is going to be that hard page requirement set forth forth by the solicitation package, while the page target is going to be what you would like the system to write to. And so if you hover over these eyes here, it does give you a full explanation of the differentiators between the two. You can also change the section title, and you also have full control over the output. You also have full control of the section title at all times, as well as the section content. So what you have the ability to do, so this writing plan here is going to be the third area of our core 4 principle here at GovDash, is going to be the best way and the most important way to heavily influence the output of this section content. So this writing plan here is going to be a description of essentially, if you were describing to a writer for what to include and what to write to within the section content in your proposal, this is your ability to then give the system additional instructions on what information you'd like to include and how you would like us to write it. The system will surface writing plans for you upon the first generation of the proposal, but you have full ability to modify this writing plan to any extent you would like to. Now, if you want to make direct edits directly within the proposal that you guys are writing, so if you download that directly from the system and you do want to edit that and you want to have a collaborative environment where you can assign reviewers, you can actually go in here, and if you select a reviewer, so for example, if I wanted my colleague Brett to be the reviewer of this section, he'll actually get an email that he's in charge of reviewing this section, and then he can go in here and he can actually dictate this to in review. That's one, going to keep everybody on the same page, but then two, Brett knows that he's in charge of reviewing this section. So what he can actually do is he can directly edit the text directly within the section content. And once you go in and edit that, you don't even need to regenerate the proposal. All you need to do is then go back into the system, download the most recent version of the proposal, and then your edits will get reflected live in that output. Then if you go in and you do edit anything within the outline except the section content, you will need to go in and regenerate this, but you can do so on a section by section basis. So you can play around with the content and see directly how your inputs are influencing the output. The fourth part of our core 4 principle here is going to be focus documents. So a focus document is a document that has content in it that you would want to heavily utilize in the creation of content for this section. A focus document is supposed to be designed for you to point the system directly to a document that you want the system to reference first before it goes into the rest of the content in your data library. You do have the ability to explain to the writing plan information that's included in the focus document, and you can basically give the system a plan for how you want it to utilize the information in the focus document. You currently can't tell it like go into the focus document and pull in, paragraph 1 and paragraph 2, but you can give it a structure for how you want that section to look like based on the content within that section here. So again, at all times, you have full control over this outline to any extent that you would like to. And then the last thing is that before you go in and generate your proposal here, you can actually go into actions here. And when you guys upload your template directly to the system, you can go into select template here, and you can actually choose which of your templates that you would like the system to export your proposal in. Our system has a template directly into the system, so this is our default template. But again, you guys do have the ability to have your own templates within the system, so it'll export in something that you guys are familiar with seeing. Do is click generate proposal here. It's going to ask you to approve your outline, your past performances that you've selected for this proposal, any key personnel that are relevant for this proposal, as well as showcase to you how many of the solution data questions that you guys have inputted. Once you click generate proposal here, what's going to happen is the system is then going to go through your data library, and it's going to pull in the most relevant and up-to-date content to build out a proposal narrative response that supports all the inputs that you've made in the system, as well as any direct updates that you've made in the section content. When that is ready, you can go directly to the versions tab here, and you can download this proposal directly to your computer. It's going to get exported directly into a Word document. When that is ready, you can then go in open up that Word document, and this is where you're going to be able to heavily utilize the Word Assistant in order to refine that content even further once you've taken it out of the GovDash system. In order to access the Word Assistant, this is going to be your half moon that says open GovDash in the upper right-hand corner of your Word document. This will open in any Word document that you guys open on your computer, so you can use the power of the system to refine any content or any document that you guys are currently working through. The first step is to always ensure that you have the proposal linked that you are actively working on within the system. So you'll be able to see all the different proposals that you're working on. And this is to ensure that the system has the right solicitation documents that it's referencing when you're going in and prompting this here. So this will give you the full ability to modify this to any extent that you would like to. So you can go in here, and once you find a solid block of text that you would like to refine, this Word Assistant is going to be based on the highlighted information within the proposal. So you can go in here and you can start to use our power actions, which are substantiate. In this substantiate button, it's going to go through your data library, your past performance cloud, or your contract inventory with all your past performance in it. And it's going to go in and it's going to pull additional relevant content from those clouds to then build out a more substantiated response. Once that is complete, you will then have the full ability to either one, directly insert that back into the tool, or you can insert it wherever your cursor is. So you can go in, move your cursor, and directly insert that back into the tool this way. Another option you have is to go through and shorten text. So this one's quite useful for if you're trying to get page count down in a time crunch. You can go through and you can shorten the text here while also maintaining compliance. You can also go through, and our system will automatically write in active voice, but you do have the ability to go in here and change passive voice to active voice if you wanted to directly within the system. So I'll give you guys an example of this, even though our system automatically writes in active voice here. You also have the ability to go through here and you can convert information to tables. You can also convert information to graphics. And so you can then, again, directly insert this back into the tool. You can also go through and you can create graphics. So if you wanted to create a graphic based on this text, we can either do what's suggested by the system, a process, cycle, matrix, or hierarchy graphic here. And then you can insert that into the tool this way. And then we also have the ability for you to go in and convert information to bulleted lists. Again, directly insert the back into the tool as well. After you've combed through our power actions and you've used those to your advantage, you can also utilize the Word Assistant to point it to any sort of document or content that you would like it to. So if you click on this plus button in the bottom left-hand corner of the Word Assistant and you go to upload documents, you can also point the system directly to a specific set of documents or just one document. This is quite useful for creating past performance references, or if you're trying to point the system to a specific document when creating a capability statement. You can also go through and you can change which content that the system uses when you're going through and prompting the tool. So you can either do auto select, where based off of your prompt, the system is then going to choose the best information and then pull that in to substantiate the claim for that response. You can either point it to your data library. If you have any questions for how to utilize parts of the system, you can reference the GovDash guides. You can either speak to the assistant without any additional context and pretty much just going back and forth directly with the system or this information that the system was trained on. Once you've gone through and you refined your content here, this is going to be your best friend throughout the review process, and it's easy to then integrate directly into your SharePoint site, since this GovDash Word Assistant is directly into a Word document.